All right, we are back and getting ready for editing the entire task. So I'm noticing here in our Cypress tests, our next thing is we click on the edit button and we want to get this task title. So right now, if I were to click on the edit button, click on you, click on edit button, nothing happens. Well, the reason for that is because we've kind of not done anything with our edit button. Right now, taking a look at it inside of the task edit buttons component, we have this route one. That's where it's going. It's just going to one task, the same place where the button is right now, as far as we're concerned. So we need to just go to edit button. So just reminding myself what we have because it's been a few days since I last recorded. In molecules, we have the task edit buttons. We want to go to a single task. In pages, we do have edit task. That should work. It does take in an ID. So if in router here, okay, edit task, we pass in the ID. Okay. Okay, so we want to go to edit task. So go to task edit buttons again. We're going to replace you with edit task. ID is task ID is exactly the same. That should be what we need. Let's head back to here, and if I hit edit, we get edit task for ID 316. If we go back, we'll notice that the ID that we have in the URL is indeed 316. Okay. So that's okay. So we're now in edit page, which means we want to have the title essentially be replaced by a text input box. So let's go to edit task now. We're not going to need this H1. We're going to start with probably some kind of form. I'm okay with, let's see. Yeah, we'll keep the form in here, and if it makes sense to break it out, we'll do that. So we're going to have a form. We're going to have some kind of on submit for this. We'll worry about that in a little bit. Inside of our form, we're going to want our title, right? So that is going to be our BB text input. I believe normal text is that. So, okay, that's what we care about. So BB text input. So we're going to do that here. It's a Does our BB text input have a label on it? I want to say it does, but I can't remember anymore. It's been too long. So yes, okay, you have a label, and also it's bringing in this div is what's returning. So I don't even need to create a div here. So we're gonna have our BB text input. Now, things that we need to worry about for our props. We have our data dash test. Now, in this case, it's looking for editing dash title. Okay. Then we have the label, okay? Our label should probably be the task title. We can have a placeholder. I'm not exactly sure what we should have for that right now. Maybe just keep that as the label. If we need to give it a class, we will here. Input type. is going to be the input type default, which is, oh, it looks like this doesn't have default in here. So this is required. So input type is required. Is it normal? Or is it, oh, it's text. Okay. What next? On change. Okay, so we do need some kind of callback in here for when this thing changes. So let's go ahead and create that. Now, right now, I think it's okay just to do a log. Um, oh, and this isn't going to be this is going to be the string of what we got. So this is going to be our the new title. Okay, so that makes you happy. Now there's something else here that we're gonna need to update for BB text input, which is the value. But let's actually look at this first and see what I mean. So we have our test title. This I think taking up 100% for right now. It's probably okay. We can give it maybe a margin or a padding or something in in the page, but we don't have the task title here. So we probably want to update you to take in an optional value, which would be a string. We could get the value out of here. Okay, so that could be default. So let's grab the value out. Unwrap our default, so it could just be an empty string, and then we'll set that value here as the input. Now, you're unhappy. Oh, right. Let's see. Props.value. We're going to need to clone you. So let's see. Props. Clone the value before we unwrap it. Okay, you're happy here. Now there's still nothing in here. We actually need to get the we need to pass in the value here, which means we need to grab the task. So let's see. Can we do that here? Let task equals, we're going to use our use store. Then we're going to grab the state. It's going to be, we're going to map. We're going to have our store. Okay, we're going to grab the store dot. Okay, so now we have access to our store. Oh, we need to tell it what type of store this is. Something I consistently forget to do, but am reminded by when I get this big unknown. It's like, okay, time to do something. And we have in our store, we have this type, which is the just store type. Okay, that helps you. Now you know what this is. I want store dot, this is going to be So we need to get the specific task out of here. Did we ever create something to give me that? Yeah, okay, so we have this get task by ID, and we can pass in the ID. So let's do that. So we're gonna do store dot get task by ID. We need to pass in the ID. U32's implement clone, so and copy. This should be fine. So we're gonna do props dot ID. That gives us an option of this task. I think that should be fine. This other one actually just gives us an option task, and then we want an unwrap or default. Okay, so now we have an option task because we don't know if we have a task. So, let's see, let's grab the task. I guess what we can do now is if we don't have a task and we're trying to go into edit mode, we should just send them back to the home screen. So let's if let none equals task. Do I want to do this like as a match here? And then we just still have task going in, and then we just like exit early. I don't know. If let none task, I kind of like the idea of we're just gonna go back now. So if let none equals task, that means we don't know anyone. We need to get the history. So let history equals use history, but to use history, we need to grab the the router. The router prelude. Okay, so we grab history. We're also gonna need the router itself. Router and route. Okay, so get our history. We can unwrap safely here because we know we're in that use browser router. And then what are we going to do with this? We're going to push to where we want to go. So we're going to do a history dot push. We want to go to route home, and that's going to be it. Okay, that's going to send us out. We also aren't testing this log, and the log is basically working with the console log. So it's a super easy way to sort of access. Well, I mean, we've had it with that lesson before, but we're gonna console log what this title out when it changes. So we haven't tested that either. This we can use the is none. So that's a good idea. If task is none. I keep on forgetting about that one, and Clippy helps me out every time. Okay, so we're gonna do a history to push. That's fine for trying to like do the rest of this. It doesn't really matter. We're just gonna go away pretty soon after. So let's try this out. If I come into here, I go to edit mode. It's sending me home right away. So that's not necessarily a good thing. Now I don't necessarily want to do a like unwrap either, because there's a possibility that it doesn't have any tasks in the store when I first load, which actually is a fairly highly likelihood. We've noticed that in the past. So this might not be a good idea to do. And I think we tried this before, and I sort of forgot that it's a problem. So Let me refresh this. Now, okay, so now we're back into task title. So let's actually grab the title out of it. It can be an optional well, if the task title doesn't exist, then it's just going to be an empty string. Okay, so let's grab that out instead. That task title. We're going to do our task. We can match on task. So we're going to have, you're not going to tell me what I can do? Task title equals match on task. There we go, fill match arms. Okay, so if we have some that's going to give us a task, then I want to return the task.title, which gives us a string. Now, if we have a none, I want to just do a new string. So string new, which is just going to be an empty string. So now that I have this task title, we can do a value of the task title. You're happy there. And when we come in, now we see that we have our task title here. If I make a change to you, so checking the box is, let's say, and I click off, now we see we get that console log with the box is. So we've now verified that our console log is working. We verified that our, what is it? Console log is working. We have the event handler is working, and also the value is now working. And it probably doesn't really care if we go somewhere else. So where was that? That was, oh, we don't have the logout stuff yet. So that's kind of gonna be a thing. If we go to the other one, we then see the task title correctly in here too. Okay, so that's nice for this. Let's go ahead and not worry about the task as none right now. We may have to deal with that later. Let's check our Cypress test again. So we were on this get the task title. Part of should be editable. Okay, so we get that. It types 3 exclamation points in the end of the box. And then it's looking for task description. Okay, so task description is going to be a text field. We don't have one of those right now. However, I'm going to be doing a experiment with these videos now. I'm going to try doing smaller ones that I'm recording for YouTube, just like part of each sort of like test section. So in the next one, we're going to be going into the editing description. I will see you there. Thank you. Bye.